Colin Stuckert here, founder and CEO, Wild Foods Co. Follow me on Instagram at Colin Stuckert. Today, 3 benefits of intermittent fasting. Number 1, it makes your life simple, okay? This is a big one, guys, especially if you have kids, if you have a job, if you're rushing around all the time, a million things to do. You don't have to do dishes. You don't have to cook as much. You don't have to grocery shop as much. You could literally eat 1 meal a day and be just fine. Most people, they do about 2 meals a day on a 16-8 IF. I mean, 1 meal a day works as well. You could build up to that. I do 1 meal a day myself sometimes, especially if I have a bigger meal. But in general, basically, skip breakfast. You do something like you drink your fat coffee in the morning. Get your ebook at drinkyourfat.com. Okay, that'll explain that methodology. And then you go your whole day. You're doing your work. You're getting to it. You're getting stuff done. And then you have your first meal. You know, maybe it's a early dinner, late lunchtime, or maybe it's when you get home from work and you have dinner with the fam, and that's your actual breakfast. That is my preferred way to do it, actually. And on days I'm training, like today, I got racquetball from 5 to 7. I'm gonna actually go the whole day with no food, okay? Work the whole day, get to the gym at 5:30, play racquetball for 2 hours, okay? Nothing but water to fuel me, right? You can do some pre-workout or whatever you want to. You might spike, you might break the fast, so I don't know if I'd recommend that. But when you get good at this, you can do it. Work out all day, go all day. You won't need anything else. That's when you control your hormones. That's when you can literally change your life. And so my first meal, the first time I'll have to cook, clean, do anything, will be at 6 to 7 p.m. at night. The whole day, all I can do is focus on work. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing, and I can't recommend it enough. Now, before we move on to number 2, I want to clear up some misconceptions of fasting. What people think. People think fasting is about calorie restriction, right? But that's not the case, especially when it's intermittent fasting. If you fast prolonged for like 3 to 5 days, obviously you're going to calorie restrict, right? But on a daily basis, when you're intermittent fasting, you are eating the same amount of calories. Now, if you want to reduce calories, you can do that, and it makes it easier because your hormones are regulated, right? You're not always, the hunger monster is not saying eat, or snack, right? And that's one of the big benefits of fasting. And so when you push your meals back, you control insulin, right? And then you control your appetite as a result. And so when you want to calorie restrict, you just eat less and it's easier because your hormones controlled. But my point is it's not about calorie restriction, because if you have an 8-hour feeding window, let's say, for example, in a 16-8 fast, which is 16-hour fasted window, 8-hour feeding window. So every day, that's the timing of your meals. And that's what intermittent fasting is about. It's about timing. It's not about total aggregate calories, okay? The 8-hour window, you could eat 2,000 calories within that window. You could eat 5,000 calories within that window. But you're still eating the same amount of daily calories in that window. It's just what happens before you break the fast and after you stop eating. That window of 16 hours, right? No food goes into your body. And what that does is, because no food's going into your body, you're not spiking insulin, cortisol, or any of these things, and your hormones come down and regulate. You control appetite, and your body gets used to that. Your body is designed to go long periods of time without food, which is why IF is so beneficial. Number 2 is you can burn fat. You get your body into fat burning mode, okay? So very basic explanation of how your body burns and stores fat is insulin is a storage hormone. So primarily when you eat carbohydrates, and to a lesser extent protein, right? Also, if you're very stressed, your insulin levels can respond to that through cortisol. But insulin comes up, and it basically is this hormone that says, hey, there's calories that we need to put into your fat because that's going to help you survive for later, right? So this insulin floating around is saying, hey, Mr. Calorie, go into my fat cells. Go into these areas that people get fat on, so that later, when I'm going through the wild and I'm maybe not successful hunting, or I can't find any food for a few days, I'm going to live off the calories in my body fat, right? But what happens when you're eating all the time, every time you're putting calories into your body, especially carbs, and to a lesser extent protein, your insulin keeps getting triggered to come back up, right? And when your insulin triggers up, your blood glucose levels come up. And then what insulin does is it tells the sugar that's in your blood to go into fat stores, right? So the whole eat 8 hours a day thing to stoke metabolism is a lie. It has literally been thoroughly disproven by not only research, but also by just like people that did it and were failed, right? Like eating small meals all day long, you will not burn fat, right? I don't care if you calorie restrict half of your daily calorie intake, you won't burn fat because your insulin levels are going to be out of whack. Your insulin levels are going to go up, down, up, down, up, down, right? Usually they go higher and higher and higher, and then you get insulin resistance, which leads to fat gain, metabolic derangement, and all the issues that we have in our modern world, okay? So when you space out time between meals, right, your insulin starts coming down. When your insulin starts coming down, what it does is it lets your body go to fat cells, right? Because insulin is down. Insulin thinks, oh, hey, there is not food available, right? I'm not going to eat, so I need to use fuel on my body in the form of fat, right? But when insulin is up, food's going into your mouth all the time. So when food's going into your mouth all the time, your body is signaled to store, because that's a survival mechanism. Remember, calories are survival in the wild, right? So when calories are always available, insulin's job is to keep you alive for the longest period of time as possible. So insulin takes those calories and puts it into your body, right? But when food isn't coming to your mouth, your body starts realizing, okay, well, as I need to find fuel from somewhere else, right? And if calories aren't coming into my mouth because insulin isn't high, then I got to start going to my fat cells. And when you go to your fat cells to use those calories as fuel, that's when you're what's called fat adapted. And that's when you burn fat, okay? So that's why the #1 thing for fat loss and for weight management is hormone regulation. It is not calories in, calories out, or aggregate calories. I mean, there's examples of people eating like 4,000 calories a day and still burning fat and losing weight. It's insane. Okay, so hormones are the #1 thing, and fasting helps you regulate hormones. So that's a huge, huge, huge benefit of intermittent fasting. Okay, so now let's get to #3. Benefit #3 of intermittent fasting: you get your morning and your early day back. You aren't crashing. You aren't going on the roller coaster ride that most people do when they wake up, they eat breakfast, spike insulin, go to work. Insulin comes down, they feel sluggish and tired, they eat again, spike insulin, they go a couple hours, insulin comes down, they feel tired. Guys, F that, right? F that. That is not how your body is designed, okay? In the morning you wake up, cortisol, a stress hormone, gets released in small doses to wake you up. It's a natural process, right? Getting vitamin D helps that as well. When you add food and insulin to the mix, you're spiking insulin and even more cortisol, and you get this conglomeration of hormonal disaster, which is why most people feel like crap a couple hours later, especially if your breakfast is like cereal or grains or any of that crap. You're gonna feel like crap, okay? You can get your whole day at a state of awareness, at a state of boss work, right? Like focus, mental clarity. And then if you use something like a drink your fat method and use some like MCTs, and you can really help with ketone production, and the MCTs go straight into your body, used as fuel. It's a game changer, guys. It is a game changer. For most people, just getting off that roller coaster ride of hormonal disaster is enough to change your life. Like they've proven the first few hours of the day are your most creative, most important. It's when you have the most energy. It's when your brain's working the most efficiently. If you're throwing hormone nonsense into that, it's gonna bite you. It's gonna hurt. You're gonna lose productivity. You're going to lose so many things. You're gonna feel like crap. You're more likely to hate your job. You're more likely to not be productive. You're more likely to not take risks, because all you can think about is when the next time you get to eat or nap is. Right? That distracting nonsense has got to go if you want to accomplish anything. And the best way to do that is with a morning fast, no breakfast in the morning, and then using a butter coffee, a super fat coffee, which is like coffee or tea, MCT oil, maybe some pastured butter, maybe some cocoa butter, etc. And then just using that for fuel for the day. Game changer, okay? So I hope you guys like this video. That was 3 benefits of intermittent fasting. Comment below if you have any questions or comments or whatever. And I hope you'll try intermittent fasting tomorrow. See ya.